Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to show you how to draw the concept for your Scratchboard. You're going to be organizing around a central point, an area of emphasis. In this case, it would be these multiple hearts here, some big, some small. And then your lines and your shapes that move from outwards to inwards all help to direct attention to that one central area. So we call this a radial design because from the center out, we have lines and shapes radiating, kind of like the rays of a sun or the arms of a starfish. So a radial design in art is pretty common, and I just want you to build around an idea of a radial design. Now, it still leaves a lot of decision making up to you. What's going to be your emphasis? Where is it going to be? What types of lines and shapes are you going to use? How complex the surface? Remembering this is just the 30-point concept, your final will be done on Scratchboard. And here you can see, perhaps, under the camera lens, me getting started on my final. So I'm going to move this out of the way, move a clean sheet of paper into place. You see I have my little mascot here, and I'm going to get started. So remembering, please, that what you decide to make your center doesn't have to be in the center. I can make my center here or here or here. I can make it small or big, but one way or the other, it's going to draw the attention of the eye. I'm going to lead the eye to that point. So it could be that right here, I'm going to start with a light circle and then begin to change that up a little bit. This is just going to be a cartoon skull. You can see I'm playing with the upper jaw. Now here comes the lower jaw into place. And that's going to be the center of my design, okay? And in fact, this would be the top of the paper, but I think as I look at right now, this might be the top of the paper later on, okay? So it might in fact be a little bit more like this when I'm done. But I'll continue to draw this way. I'm going to move the mascot out of the way just to get some extra room. Remember that lines radiate out. Now I like drawing lightly, and that gives me a sense of where things might be placed, but the light line is replaced by a heavier line. And I take a little bit more time with that heavier line, just to be sure that I'm doing it correctly. It doesn't, in fact, have to be a line, does it? Now I'm going to move this line over here because I like this placement better. This line is going to be a swirling line, varied in width. See what I mean? Sometimes it's thick, sometimes it's thin, so that's variation in width. I might even split this portion of the line right there. I'm still using line to define this. Now this line is going to be interrupted or broken. See it right there, broken, and I might use that technique again with variation. So here's another line that's broken, really composed of a lot of smaller shapes, not really a line at all. Remember, a point is the smallest mark that your pencil can make on a piece of paper. The path that the point follows when it starts to move, well, that's a line. So in fact, a line is evidence of movement, is it? So here we go. Here are some more lines. Now, do you notice how my lines are varied? They're not all the same. They have similarities, but they're not identical. So that's something you want to do. You want to vary the elements in your drawing. You can repeat. Repetition is a great way to establish rhythm. See how I kind of repeated that line? Or how I'm going to go ahead and repeat this one. But variation is also important. So in repeating this line, I might pick up on a little bit of the element of this line over here, so you see how those two lines are both similar and different. You want variation in your drawing. Bigger lines and bigger shapes will fill your design space faster, so be sure and use some big shapes as well as some small shapes, some big thick lines as well as some small ones. And be sure to repeat so that you get a sense of balance throughout your piece. Again, this line is similar to that line, which is similar to that line, but similar. They're not exactly the same. And what if I interrupt this line with something totally unexpected, like that star element right there? It looks like I might even be able to squeeze in another one there. You notice how this star is a little bit bigger than that star? Here's another way to convey the sense of a deeper space, is through size. So what if I have an oval here, an oval there, which is smaller, an oval here, which is smaller? Even the distance or space between the ovals can grow smaller and smaller, so it looks like we're going from a near space where objects are big to a far space where objects are small. Remembering that changing up the sizes of things. Now, these are not exactly ovals. Changing up the sizes of things also helps to lead the eye. Almost done. What do you think? I'm going to turn it this way because I said that this is probably going to be the top right here. It looks pretty good. I'll turn it this way, probably more on the screen at that point. Looks like this guy is looking over his shoulder. I think I might do a little overlapping. Remember that overlapping helps to open up spaces. It creates layers of space that you wouldn't otherwise have. Remember that you live in a three-dimensional world of space where overlap is very common. It's part of your visual field almost all the time. You just have to open your eyes and pay attention to what you're seeing. Again, a few little elements repeated throughout to kind of balance out their use and help to fill some voids, some empty spots. And I think I'm done. I think that's a pretty good concept drawing for my Scratchboard built around the idea of a central area of focus, an area of emphasis, as well as lines that and shapes that lead their way into the middle and direct the viewer's attention to that central area. Okay, now you try.